And welcome to the latest edition of the 941 Sports Zone. John, I think I'm going to call this season 2, episode 2, as opposed to episode 53. What do you think?
I got you. I'm fine with
Yeah.
that.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, it shows that we've been doing this now. This is our second
When we
year.
when we get to 10,000, it would be obnoxious to have 10,001. But and if you when you change the channel on any station that I'm looking over my shoulder at right now, it always says season 10, episode 4. So
Yes.
there's a way to do that.
All right. 941 Sports Zone presented by Carroll GMC, sales, selection, experience what car buying should be. Who can make you drive with a smile? Carroll can. On the beautiful island of Venice, Monty Jacobs and the gang will get you in a brand new car if you want. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We just did our high school football episode number 2, and we invite you to look for that if you want to be caught up on everything that's going on in high school football in our area. We did a wrap of week 1, and we did a little bit of a preview of week 2. And again, what was our game of the week? I believe it's Port Charlotte at Clearwater Central Catholic, correct?
Yes, it was.
Oh, very good game. So look for that at the same place you consume this. Just look for 941 Sports Zone, and it should come up for you, especially if you're on YouTube.
And congratulations to last week's winning team from our game of the week, which is Lakewood Ranch Mustang over the Parish Community.
Yes.
Is it the Bulldogs?
No, I think so. No.
I'm
now you're going to make me look.
I said it. I'll remember here as in a minute.
All right. Anyway, all right. Let's start with some NFL football, if you will. It's preseason football. I mean, and actually, I believe it's the Bulls.
The Bulls.
Yes, the Parish Community Bulls. But let's start with the NFL preseason, something I don't normally partake in, but I was home Saturday night trying to get back on schedule. I've been working overnights for the last couple of weeks, so I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. And just so happened that the Bucks and Chiefs were on ESPN Unlimited. They started with the Chiefs broadcast, which I was like, really? You're going to do that? And then about midway through the first quarter, they went to Coach Gruden and Rondé Barber.
The Gruden and Barber show. There was no play-by-play guy. Rondé took over some of that role pretty much, but it was just them two talking football. It was relatively entertaining because Gruden has that ability to sort of, I don't know, he says things that don't seem like they would be interesting, but he makes them sound interesting.
Yep.
You know, talking about why a guard is doing this or this person's doing that. But I see early on in your notes that you sent me, he is in love with Jalen Daniels.
He is.
He couldn't stop talking about that young man from Kansas.
Yes, and listen, it's a good thing that Gruden was entertaining because the first half was an absolute snooze fest. It ended on a 69-yard field goal. Bruckner of the Chiefs hit it. Everybody went wild. It's kind of like the kid that hit the 70-yarder in preseason for the Jags last year?
I think it
matters. I mean, seriously? I mean, so I guess they carried him to the second half and they almost won, but they didn't. And, 16-15, the final. Here's my big take from the game. No major injuries. How about that? Because again, the Bucks and let me tell you something. I watched the first quarter. Obviously, Baker came out, and he actually came out for 2 series, and they were going to make absolutely sure he didn't get hit. They ran bubble screen after bubble screen after bubble screen. I don't even think he took a 3-step drop. It was like 1, boom, 1, 2, boom. I mean, it was. Yeah. It was. I think he ended up like 2 for 4 for 10 yards. What does that accomplish? What does that accomplish, John?
I don't think it accomplishes anything. I just think that I think I'll go bigger picture. I think at some point in time, we're going to see preseason just be backups and guys trying to make the team. There'll be no reason to have a quarterback out there with all the the
scrimmages
that they do together, all the OTAs, everything else.
Joint practices. Let's call them what they are.
So all that being the case, I think it's going to be a waste. I think you're going to see backups. And by the way, what's wrong with that? If it's preseason, it's mostly backups anyway. Maybe a guy, maybe somebody needs a little ass to get in a game, whatever. But as far as quarterback is concerned, it doesn't make any difference. Baker Mayfield got nothing out of that game except broke a little sweat. Maybe got used to the logistics of being back in the stadium, whatever else. But one thing I will say though, going back to the Gruden Barber show, one of their guests was Baker Mayfield, and they had no hesitation asking him about his contract.
Oh yeah,
everything else. And Mayfield is pretty good about letting his hair down, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a little bit. And there was a tone that I picked up from him that if I was a Buccaneers fan, I'd be a little bit nervous about.
Yep.
I know Vita Vea signed 1-year extension, $30 million. But if I'm a Buck fan, I'm thinking that Baker's realizing he can go anywhere he needs to. He's a commodity now. He understands his worth, very much so. Everybody's talking about putting him on the whatchamacallit,
franchise
tag, right?
Yep.
And while he'd make a lot of money, it might aggravate him even more. You know what I'm trying to say? Because he's looking for some longevity to the contract because he realizes that that it's fleeting, and he may not be the guy who can play till he's 42 years old. He's not the biggest guy in the world.
Right.
And so that being the case, if I'm the Bucks, I would try to. I know there's no negotiations, but if I saw that and I thought that he is my guy, then by all means, I think they need to lock him up before it gets more and more bitter.
Well, here's my thought on it. Okay, they say no negotiations. Okay, they're going to play in Jacksonville next week, in a half full stadium because it's under construction. You don't get to go to Jacksonville this year, John. I think you have to go to where you get to go to Atlanta, right? Or
Atlanta,
North Georgia, whatever. But nonetheless, I think there's a little more than 2 weeks between that last preseason game on the 28th and the first game against the Bengals on the 13th. And I think the two sides will get together in that window from Saturday the 29th till the first Monday of practice. And I think they'll try to hammer this thing out. And if they don't, then obviously they're not going to get a contract. And at that point, we play the high stakes game of chicken. Baker does well when he plays with a chip on his shoulder.
Yes.
But also, last year he got banged up, and the reason, he'll never come out and admit it, but the reason that they didn't make the playoffs and they went from 6-2 to 8-9 was because he was not healthy for the second part of the season. I don't think there's any question about that. Anybody that saw him throw the football could just see that. That being said, he's betting on himself. And the Bucks will probably try to franchise tag him. I think if we get to the point where the regular season starts, I don't think they're ever going to get a long-term deal with him. And then the Bucks got to figure out, do they, because I was talking to a friend of mine who's like, they're going to win 9 games by accident, which I kind of find strange, but that puts them right in the middle. That puts them like 15 to 20. You're not going to get a quarterback, if you will, of major caliber.
No, I honestly, Rich. So I don't think that the Patriots pathway, whatever you want to call it, a 15-year run, maybe longer than that, maybe 20 year run
with Tom.
You're not going to see it that's done. There's not going to be a dynasty that goes that long. I think that if you do things right in the NFL, you have a 3 to 6 year window, and you can say, maybe a shorter or longer by a year, whatever it may be, and that's because you can get that's when you have a great quarterback with a great coach, and they're married together and everything's good. How long has Mahomes been in the league now? He's going on 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, I think this is his 9th season. 2018, right?
Right. So think about Mahomes. There's been an extended situation there, but look, he got hurt. Do we know he's going to be up to 100%? We don't know. Do they have the pieces? The division got much better.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at that and you say, okay, so what's going to happen there? My point being is that if you got a quarterback in Baker, you think he's the guy, and you think he can get you, even if it's lightning in a bottle, you think he's your guy, he should have been signed. He needs to be signed.
Yeah.
That he's going to get it done because the window's there. Now, I said it earlier, and where I'm going to go with this. So maybe they don't want to sign Baker because of Todd Bowles. Maybe they're not. Maybe Bowles is not the coach. Maybe they don't want to put a bunch of money into Baker and then have to sort of like retool him or whatever. Maybe I don't know, Rich, but it seems not very practical on their side to not have gotten this deal done and sort of drag their feet on it because I think he's a guy that you can say, yeah, he's my guy. Is he better than? Is he a top 10 quarterback? I don't know, Rich. I think he's probably close to being a top 10 quarterback. And top 10 quarterbacks can win championships. We see it all the time.
Mm-hmm. So they won a quarterback. They won a championship with Brad Johnson at quarterback. Do I need to say anything else? I mean,
well, and they go and look at another the Trent Dilfer championship with the Ravens.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's not, that's not a jaw-dropping situation with his talent.
Right.
He managed the game properly. So, and by the way, Baker's not a game manager by any stretch. No. He's a talented quarterback. He can throw. He can move. You got to have a quarterback who can move around a little bit. He can move around. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that they are. I think it's a little silly at this point, and I know we're going to talk about it a lot this year, because all of a sudden you look at the schedule and you say to yourself, "Oh, they're 3-3. They got a tough road ahead of them." You're going to keep on bringing up that Baker problem and the Todd Bowles problem. And I don't think Baker it should be a problem. And I think Todd Bowles should have been taken care of.
Yeah. Should have been taken care of. I like the way you put that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Bucks and Jags in Jackson. I'll actually be in Jacksonville.
Nice.
I'm going down there Friday. My brother's second retirement. He retired from the Navy 25 years ago, and now he's retiring from the job he did in the Navy.
So that's my brother. My brother, if he's watching this, he's going to say, "Oh, here he goes." I've been to 4 retirement parties for my brother. I'm not going anymore.
So
a military. So it's. But no, I mean, yeah. This game is just really going to be who makes the 53. And the
absolutely. There's no doubt about that.
And by the way,
you're not going to see any starters.
It's very smart. The NCAA has 8 games this weekend, 9 games this weekend. Week 0, if you want to call it that.
Right.
And one marquee matchup, I would say, and then a couple other decent games that are tossed in there. If you're an FSU fan, you got to watch, right? New Mexico State.
Oh, you got a game. The Aggies, baby.
Yeah, well, they need a good start. They really do because, listen, where I fall, right, as far as
you bleed orange.
I'm a Gator guy, but if they lose that or play terribly or lose that game or whatever happens, how do you not fire them on the field?
Oh, absolutely. No,
you just say it's done. It's done,
yeah.
and that's a hot seat. That's a hot seat right now.
Yeah, it's toasty, very toasty. Yeah. By the way, the Dolphins, we got a good look at them on Saturday against the Giants. And again, I know it's guys that are not going to make the team, but that team is
hot garbage. Hot garbage.
Yeah.
That's not.
We're going to do over-unders in the next couple of weeks. I've already got them all put together. The Dolphins is 3.5. Yeah. 3.5. I'm thinking under.
I didn't see anything. They looked, Rich, like all their talent is gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's guys, but it just didn't look good. It looked awful, just awful.
Yeah. Speaking of awful, Deshaun Watson's press conference after his, and I'm going to put that in air quotes, performance against the Bills, and he rips the fans. He said it wasn't about the performance. John, was he 5 of 16? What What planet is he on? I mean, he used to be a really good quarterback, and the Browns on Monday named him the starter, which just tells me that they're in total tank mode.
Well, the press conference he had should have led to him being benched.
Yeah.
Right.
Or put out of his misery. What do you want to call that? Basically make him inactive for the year.
Yeah, just it should have been done. You've got 2 young quarterbacks. Go out there, do what you got to do. You're looking for a lottery pick, another team that's looking to, they've no Myles Garrett. They're just, they're done. They're not going to do very well either, especially in that division. But no, Deshaun Watson, I heard it today on the radio, and the word was he's not a good person.
No,
because it's not so much I got booed, I didn't deserve it. They cheered when I was hurt, yada yada yada. I wouldn't change the thing that I've done in my life for nothing. I mean, everything leads to look at me. It's all about me. You've learned nothing.
He's tone deaf. He's tone deaf, John.
But in some ways, the Browns, I mean, stupidly give him a $212 million guaranteed contract. With a guy like that, the guy who did some not good things in regards to women and other things that he's done, and then he comes out of it cocky.
Yeah.
Ooh, you gotta. Whatever it is, he's gonna get paid. I know you can't blackball a guy out of the league. It's not, it's not right. But
you can.
At some point in time, you just got to say, this is not the guy for us. This is not the guy for us. I got to think after that press conference, it wasn't even Cleveland management that was having to deal with it. I think the NFL was calling Cleveland and said, what's going on down there? We don't need that. It's the NFL. We don't need to have a quarterback forgetting what he did wrong and not being apologetic about it.
Speaking of womanizing, 49ers owner Jed York arrested over the weekend on suspicion of prostitution charges. The NFL is investigating. Maybe he can call Robert Kraft and get some pointers. I don't know.
Well, he already did everything. He's done. He got a 1-day sentence. He got 1 day in jail.
Yeah.
A small fine. But it's just you can't write these things up.
I know.
Reality is better than fantasy.
Okay, so he's a gazillionaire, and it was over $140.
He's in a
come on, dude.
He's in a trailer park. He's in a trailer park in Ohio.
Yes,
it's in the town where they had the big chemical spill and the big train that blew up. Right,
mm-hmm.
It's right in that town. Right, he's there. He looked his mugshot with his orange jumpsuit on. He looked like he was the garbage man. He's a billionaire. He owns an NFL team, and he's trying to get a prostitute to go meet him in a trailer park, or he's in a trailer park. How does that happen? I mean, I don't think the York family were in a trailer park before they made their money. I don't know, but how do you even answer a question to that? I mean, how bored do you have to be?
Yeah.
You're a billionaire. You're a billionaire. I mean, I can't. I don't want to get into, but you can have you can go out there and say, hey, I own the 49ers. How about you 10 ladies come over to the house and we'll have some drinks? Okay. No, I'm going for $140 East Palestine, Ohio hooker. I don't know what else to say. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you know what? It'll just like with Kraft, it'll be a joke. Unless they do something equally as stupid as what they've done, Kraft is going to the strip mall for the Chinese massage or whatever he was doing with the happy ending. And and now you have another owner. I don't know. To me, you say, boy, wouldn't I want to be that guy? Well, if that's where you end up, with $1 billion in your pocket and an ownership of a football team, boy, there's got to be better things to do. I don't think he pulled up in a limo. What was he driving?
I have no idea. I don't know much of the details, but it's a seedy story. Just it's wow.
Yeah.
So, and the NFL's got a couple of these. Remember, the owner of the Giants is in trouble, and they want to. So, here's the thing: you're asking the other owners, the other billionaire owners, to come down on these guys,
right?
And you're going to go into their closet. This is just seedy in so many ways.
Again, I'm thinking of so many different things. Sometimes when it's old money, let's call it old money, a generational money or whatever it may be, that life just gets boring. I that's all I can think. Right. What's the challenges in your life? What are you doing? I don't know. I'm trying to rationalize it, Rich, but I really can't. I really can't do it. There's no way I could put myself in that spot and say, that's what I would have done. That's exactly what I would have done.
Yeah.
Drive to Ohio and find me a $140 hooker in a trailer park.
All right. Some more. Let's go on the field, shall we?
Sure.
The Raiders got some really bad news. Ashton Jeanty was taken off the practice field. I believe it was on Monday as we record this. Originally, they thought it was a knee. It turns out it's a sprained ankle. Question is it a high ankle sprain? And how long is he going to be out? And, of course, the Raiders, they're starting Kirk Cousins. He was supposed to be an integral part of their offense. Obviously, a big blow to a team that, is in a division. They're almost certainly going to finish last. But you just wanted to see some improvement. If he misses a lot of time, I don't know how that happens. I really don't.
No, and you're right. It's Mendoza's team for the long haul.
Yep.
I mean, Kirk Cousins is going to do. He does a good job wherever he goes. He's not a guy who's afraid to mix it up for sure. I don't know, Rich. You don't want to. With a young quarterback who's going to get inserted into the lineup probably week 7 or 8, whatever that may be, give him a run at a couple of starts, and maybe you if he gets a little dinged up, you pull him out and put Cousins back in, whatever the plan may be. But you don't want to be in a situation where they're 0-9 and you're throwing him into the mix, and right. Max Crosby's not having a good year, and all the little things that can kind of happen with that. So I don't know. I don't, other than Mendoza, I think that's going to be their only storyline that we're going to be watching this year with them. Right. And again, seems like the theme right now has been talking about a lot of teams are going to be going for the number 1 pick. Las Vegas, Miami, and Cleveland. There's 3 right there from the AFC that will struggle.
See, Vegas already has their quarterback, so this should be kind of interesting.
Well, nonetheless, if you have a first round pick and everybody wants it, boy, that's a heck of a ransom you got right there. So
you can dangle that carrot. All right, a couple of the news and notes items. Texans make a trade. They lost their number 2 wide receiver to a season-ending knee injury, so they went out and got Kayshon Boutte from the Patriots early on Monday for safety Jalen Reed. Patriots need a little help in the back end, so it's probably a trade that's going to help both teams. Patriots also get a 7th round pick in 28. Kayshon Boutte was kind of odd man out there. The Patriots went out and got a lot of help at wide receiver. He was probably going to be.
Brown took care of that right there.
Right.
That was no doubt. But Rich, I will say this too. You're hitting some good notes with me here. Another team that had scandal being the Patriots. You mentioned Bob Kraft, but we didn't really talk about Mike Vrabel and his situation. Yeah. Now, I think Mike Vrabel is a nose to the grindstone guy, a player's coach. I think he's all that stuff. But I don't know if that doesn't have a lingering effect. That whole situation, because I don't think it's over. I think there's way more to that story than we know.
Right.
Now, does that mean it's that they're trying to move on from a Patriot organizational perspective?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But I think in the media, there's somebody trying to put this whole thing together, and it could be something that I don't know. I don't say this lightly, but I have a feeling that there's more to this story, and it could be something that the NFL might have to get involved in, because coach and reporter, intimate relationship, pillow talk, whatever you want to say here and there, is it appropriate? Does it become such a bad situation that Vrabel has to try to fix family situations? He's always taken some time already, but that's still, and if it keeps coming up or it comes up, it becomes a constant source of angst. I don't know. But that's another story to look at to see where that heads. Because one thing that you don't want is, you don't want the coach to be not 100% in the game when you got a second year guy or a third year guy at quarterback that is just coming into his own. He needs to have some stability there, and I think Vrabel is a big part of that.
Yeah, and Drake May in his third year for the Patriots, who are trying to defend not only the AFC East but also the AFC title.
Right.
And I know a lot of people thought that they were fortunate to get there because Bo Nix got hurt. The schedule gets a lot tougher, so it's just all adding up to not nearly as good a season as it was a year ago. 941 Sports Zone, presented by the good folks at Carroll GMC on the beautiful island of Venice. Experience what car buying should be. Who can make you drive with a smile? Well, Carroll can. They have the sales, the selection. Monty and the gang will take care of you at Carroll GMC in Venice. Let's move to the college game. Kind of intertwined, if you will.
Yes. There's a crossover.
There is. John, did you ever think you'd see the day when guys went to the NFL, signed contracts, even if they're, free agent contracts for undrafted free agents, get cut and go back to school, go back to college? I mean, this is wild stuff here.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
But if anybody in this day and age would be right in the middle of it, it's Lane Kiffin.
Of course.
Okay. My goodness. Please. I love the way he has this. I mean, like, I can't imagine that there's a bunch of people from Louisiana, reporters and people and national people at a press conference, and he's trying to act like, well, it wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about. And, this judge said this, this judge said that. So we're going to go recruit him and everything else. No. My opinion is that more than likely that's the right people got into Lane Kiffin's head and said, if you do this, we can go out and get some of these guys that aren't going to make teams because they got the extra year, and it's an anomaly. We can sue our way to doing this. There's no doubt in my mind this was an LSU move, and others are going to follow suit.
Yeah, well, but Daquan Wright, one kid that they're talking about who just got cut by the Browns, played for Lane for 2 years at Ole Miss.
No,
so he's very familiar with him. Very familiar
that's what I'm
with
saying.
him.
You can't tell me that they didn't already know this was going to happen. They said, "Go ahead, see if you make the team." If this was already set up, it's not like Kiffin acting like he stumbled into it by mistake. No, 4 of the guys are going to LSU. 4 guys already are primed to go to LSU. Come on, it's stupid. So again, and this is the kind of stuff that you say to yourself, okay, this is how you want to win. You want to go through get a loophole and bring guys back. Now, mind you, understand this. They are going to have a problem because they're going to they have to take 4 guys off the team or whatever they got to do to get these guys in. So that's a problem he has to handle right there. I think this proves that he's not in it for the long haul. Okay. LSU doesn't seem to have a problem. They went all in on Ed Orgeron, and he was him and OBJ were hanging out hundreds and Cuban cigars and whiskey and whatever else they're doing inside the Superdome. The security said you can't do it in the Superdome. They told him, go to hell. We'll do whatever we want to do. And he got fired a year later. Whatever it was. Walked out with $18 million. Said, thanks, I'm out. Peace. No problem. And what happens? They don't win again. Let's find the next dirty actor. Oh, by the way, they come from the same family of Pete Carroll, They played together. They coached together, so they know each other's. It's you're getting the same guy. It's just one's a little more of a slick operator than the other one is. So I don't like it. I think it's wrong. I think it'll be. I think that it may be too late to do anything about this year because they've already the courts have already put it into motion. But I think it'll be taken care of. I have mentioned before, Rich, about the NCAA that a lot of stuff that's been going on with the NCAA has been them being hands off so they can avoid litigation. They don't want to go to court over everything.
Well, they don't have a good record in court, John.
No, because they know that
horrible record.
So they've let it become the wild, wild west. And now, the first person to ask for help was Nick Saban. Nick Saban said, "Hey, let the NCAA put some rules in place and get this right." Well, they skipped that right over to Congress, and Congress is trying to fix it. You know what I mean? Which you hate to see the politics get involved in college athletics, but if they fix it or put rules together, I'm fine with that. I have no problem, especially if I told you a couple of weeks ago where I was like, I heard Greg Sankey saying something. All I heard was about money in my mind, but he did come back and endorse that bill that Congress is working on. So there you go. So there could be something there. So all this stuff that we see as being out of control will now be sort of, kept together so that there's no advantages. I will probably tell you this too. I don't think Greg Sankey's any too happy about what LSU is doing right now.
Well, and I was going to bring that up, John, because there's a thing here where you can't transfer within the conference.
Right.
So this is kind of usurping that. Now, does Sankey jump in and say, whoa, stop, you can't do that, even though he went to the NFL and now he's coming back? And of course, that'll probably end up in court. If Greg Sankey has a pair, I think he jumps in here. I really do.
That's the point. He should, because he has to assert his leadership.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Look, LSU fans going to get mad about it or whatever, or kids going to, you got to do something. You've got to say something about this. If you do nothing about it, you're losing credibility with your other teams. You're losing all kinds. So it's okay to sort of go around stuff and do it. No, it's not. That's why I'm saying this wasn't crafted, Rich. This didn't happen by mistake. This is an LSU driven situation. They created, they looked around, they started looking for a way to get players, because I'm sure Kiffin said, I need a tight end, or I need this, or I need whatever else. Because honestly, LSU is not really, he didn't take over a talent laden team. He's got a good team, but they're middle of the pack for the SEC. They're not.
I thought so too, but everybody seems to be picking them to go to the playoff.
Well, don't forget, if you're sixth in the SEC, you might make the playoffs. You got 12 teams. The SEC could get 6 teams in there. You never know. So we'll have to see how that works. Going back, which though, I think that this needs to be taken care of. I don't know if it will though. We'll see. Yeah. I would be happy if Sankey did do something. But you just can't. Every time LSU pops up on the screen, it's like, what they do now? What? And not from a bad, but like what's the next thing that they did? And the thing about it was, you'd think that Lane Kiffin learned his lesson when he went to coach with Coach Saban. He didn't learn a damn thing.
Nope.
He didn't learn a damn thing. He went there only to revive his career, and he's going right down the same path he was at when he was at USC and Tennessee and wherever the hell else he's been.
Yeah. FIU, right? Was it FIU or
FAU?
FAU. Sorry. FAU.
And you know what? I said it last year when Ole Miss, when Kiffin was there and Florida was pursuing him. I'm like, I don't want him.
Yes, I know. You were very vocal.
Very, very happy that I don't have that guy.
By the way, how about Ole Miss basically coming out and saying, we had the FBI sweep the offices just in case Lane left some bugs behind.
So think about this. So I mean,
that's so SEC.
The fan base for Ole Miss was in love with Lane Kiffin until he left. Then they hated his guts. Okay. Yep. I think that the Ole Miss people know exactly. Lane Kiffin's the same guy he was at Ole Miss that he is at LSU. There's nothing different. So when they say they're doing something, I think they legitimately know that the guy would do something like that. He's that level of a snake. He's that level of that guy. He is a, I mean, do what, cutthroat, whatever you want to call him, win at all costs. It doesn't matter. Whatever wreckage he leaves behind, he doesn't care. Look, I had a coach like that at Florida. You know, I mean, Urban came in there and that was one hell of a 5-year run, right? Everybody came in there. They were shooting people, doing all kinds of stuff, right? And, you know, now we're like, oh, you know, it's okay, everything's great. But you don't forget that. There's a reason why Florida's been bad for the last 20 years because of that. They've never been able to recover from it. So we'll see.
All right, let's get to the field. Week 0 games, college football. Not too many tremendous matchups, especially if you look at the point spreads. The only ranked team in action is number 14 USC, who was supposed to play Notre Dame. Instead, they're playing San Jose State.
Not much of a difference, Rich.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, the Irish, the Spartans, 38.5's the spread. And quite frankly, on Saturday, I might throw a few drachmas, and I hate laying wood like that, but you know, I mean, if USC is going to be anything, they should win that game like 70-0.
Yeah, but you know what? San Jose State's always, it's either San Diego State or San Jose State or Fresno State. One of those states always has a great year or has or better than you think they are, kind of thing.
Okay,
you know. So maybe this year it's San Jose State's chance to win it early, not win a game, but cover or have a good run and cover the number.
Cover the number. Big
or
number.
Huge number. Make it. Yeah, win with a number.
Also, the other big spreaded game is Florida State. You mentioned them. Hosting New Mexico State, the Aggies. 31.5 is the number at the Doak. They better cover that number because their schedule gets really tough after the first 2 games. They'll definitely be 2-0, but then things get really dicey immediately for Florida State. And like you mentioned, you know, if things go really south, you could definitely see Mike Norvell not making it through the season.
No, it's not going to happen. If they, I mean, I don't, you know, based on last year's performance and the year before, you know, as a fan, you got to say that 6-6 would be an accomplishment.
Absolutely.
But
they're over under 5.5.
But at 6-6, you got to stay committed to Mike Norvell. And if
do you really though? Do you really?
I don't know.
I think he has to win at least 7 games for them to stay committed to him.
Well, again, but you know, and I know that that a lot of this issues are money. You know, FSU is a little not doing well financially,
right,
in the athletic department. So I get that, but you know, if you're Mike Norvell and you know you're trying to rebuild the team and you're struggling with some of the things that other teams aren't struggling with, you almost feel like are you just holding out? Are you just holding the door open for the next guy? I don't know.
And who is the next guy?
That's the thing. And who is the next guy?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, to me, I'm not going to say. I'm just going to. I think it's got to be Deion.
Well, I do too. But I said Deion before they hired Norvell.
Right.
Because I thought he could be the CEO. You know, be the carnival barker, be the ringleader, whatever you want to call it. We don't need you to be coaching a bunch of stuff. Just go out there and be Deion and go recruit the hell out of the state and do what you got to do and get the right people in there.
We'll see him in the 9-4-1.
Yeah, I can see Deion getting good coordinators, maybe some pro guys or whatever, to come in there and run the team with him. And I also think that if you went to Deion and said, "Look, man, here's the deal. We're going to pay you, but we ain't got a lot of money right now. So if you want to come in here and build this program, you know, we can extend you out for 8 years and let's put some big dollars on the end of that contract. Let's get us back up to speed and let's make this place exciting again." I think it could happen. I thought he was the guy who could do it, but I don't know. He's lost a little bit of his shine out in Colorado.
Yeah,
he was sick, you know, that kind of thing. But it's not like he made Colorado into a juggernaut. He has not done that at all.
No, as a matter of fact, they're over under for wins. We talked about it. I think it was 4.5.
Yeah,
that's kind of like where he was the first year. So things have kind of regressed, if you will. All right, some games that actually have some decent interest. They've got to go all the way to Dublin, but North Carolina and TCU will play. TCU killed them last year on campus. TCU is a 7.5-point favorite, and North Carolina's had all kinds of issues. Although, from what I'm hearing, their quarterback is really good. But what does he have around him? This is an intriguing game.
Yeah, I mean, talking about off the field issues. I mean, Bill Belichick has been entwined in off the field issues since the day he left the Patriots.
Correct.
And now you got Mike Lombardi, who has been accused of doing something inappropriate to a staffer or a student, or I don't know what it was, but it's a problem there. So they're still not, they're still running in the muck themselves. That game is interesting to me as well. Again, a neutral site, but you're going all the way to Ireland. And that's always an interesting trip. Who can handle that better than the other? And it's been a place where upsets have happened. So,
that's
true. There's been some upsets. I like that game. It'll be a fun game to watch. Although I think the best game of the weekend, Rich, if I can skip ahead on you,
go ahead.
NC State and Virginia.
A conference game in week 0.
Right. I like that game. Virginia, last year I'm like, they're what? They're 5-0. It's like you didn't recognize
they beat Florida State on a Friday night. Yep.
Yeah, they were in the mix to the end, got a bowl game, looked pretty good. Coach is a solid guy. NC State, everybody's sort of been like, hey, they got a great quarterback, or they got this, or they got that, or their coach is good. And their coach was supposed to be the next guy going to Florida or wherever he's going to go. And it's just like they got stuck in the mud. They're like a 7-5 team, and they lose games that they shouldn't lose.
Right.
How ACC of them to do that.
Yes, exactly.
You can say that about every team in the ACC. Like, how did Clemson lose to Wake Forest, or that kind of a thing? Right. But they're all they've become very average, and it seems as though the teams that they've got in from other places to sort of beef up their numbers have been the ones reaping the success from that. SMU seems to be the top team in the ACC right now, and they're from Texas. It's
nowhere near the Atlantic coast. Yeah,
Stanford and Cal are the games you don't want to go to, because you got to travel all the way out to the West Coast and play a 10 o'clock Eastern time start, and you're out there at 7, and you're playing Stanford, and you got to go back. It's almost like going to Hawaii,
right?
It's like that kind of a thing. So, I like the game. It has some bite to it. Definitely can affect you down the road. So I think that game will be fun to watch for a week 0 game.
Yeah, another game that I think is going to be interesting. It's a couple of group of 5 teams, but Memphis and UNLV I think is a nice game. Obviously, we have some interest here locally with UNLV.
Yes.
And Memphis being from the AAC, I think that's a pretty important game for that conference.
No, I think it definitely is. And again, to put it early as they've done, give them a little credit for that. You know what I mean? Get something out there that sort of is something to bite into, a game we might want to watch. So we'll see. I think there's enough. It's good enough that we have a chance to actually pick some games this week.
Yes.
Have a lot of the week. There's something that we can. It's not some 50-point spread or something like that. This is a legit game that you got to pick a winner.
Yep. All right. Before we move on, another reminder that the 941 Sports Zone Season 2, Episode 2, presented by Carroll GMC, sales and selection. None better. Experience what car buying should be. Who can make you drive with a smile? Carroll can. Of course, they are located on the beautiful island of Venice. Tremendous location and tremendous facility too. Lots of vehicles there. I got to see that when I went down about a month ago.
Lots of vehicles is right.
Yep, that's right. He'll put Monty will put you in a vehicle that you'll be able to drive right off the lot. Excuse me, I'm trying to fight a little cold here, John. The Rays. What's that?
Is fall weather start yet up there? I heard the
weather.
Oh
no, it was in the low 80s today. Low 80s. Okay. So we're still in summer. August. It's okay. Yeah, it's all right. The Rays got themselves Monday night a nice win in Detroit, 4-1. So they've won back-to-back games for the first time in a while. They had lost 3 straight series where they lost 2 out of 3 after coming home from that 9-0 West Coast road trip. So their lead in the AL East now 3.5. Drew Rasmussen winning his 14th game. He's definitely in the discussion for AL Cy Young Award. He's won 7 straight starts, which if he wins one more, I think becomes a club record. I think Blake Snell won 8 back in 2020. The lead, like I said, is 3.5 over the Yankees, who have won 6 of 7 and got Cody Bellinger back over the weekend. Oh, they didn't do hardly anything. However, bad news for the Yankees, Giancarlo Stanton appears to be done for the year. And say what you want about him, especially in the regular season, but he's one of the most clutch players in the postseason. He was really good again last year. They're going to miss him.
But you almost saw this coming, Rich. And that's the other one. Now is Judge the next one? Right. that doesn't make it back. We'll see. We'll see. If you're a Rays fan, that's good for you, right? That's one less big bat to deal with. But right. I will say this: not to put a wet blanket over baseball talk right now, but I'm still very secure in what the Rays are doing right now. I know that they've not won a few series. It's going to happen. I will be very surprised if they don't come September and start to pull away again. I think that they're just set up for that. Now, there's going to in the AL is going to be 4 good teams. I think it's going to be the Rays, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the White Sox. I think those are your 4 top teams. Would you say at this point?
Probably.
So we'll see. I mean, I don't want to look too far ahead, and I don't want to be overly confident, but I just feel like the Rays have sort of they kind of feel. I feel like they're on steady ground. I don't feel like it's shaky.
Okay. Well, interesting week coming up Thursday of this week as we record the 27th. Both the city of Tampa and Hillsborough County are going to have votes on funding for the Rays, and it looks like they're going to be close votes. I know there's some people on the stadium side that are basically in celebratory mode, but if both votes are 4-3, that makes me very nervous. They got to get them both in order to get this thing going, finally get it off the ground, get a shovel in the ground, and get this stadium started. They need this momentum. But I got to tell you, I'm very, very cautiously optimistic. And again, until they actually put a shovel in the ground, having lived there for years and watched this stadium saga go on and on and on and on. Like I said, until a shovel goes in the ground, I'm going to be a doubting Thomas or a doubting Richard.
The Tampa market for broadcast for TV, what 11th?
10.
Biggest 10th.
They're in top 10 now. They're number 10.
You're top 10. You're top 10. And when you watch the news and you see these council meetings and these people and whatever else it is, it doesn't feel to me like they understand that they're the top 10 market.
Right.
I get that Florida has reaped the benefits of having retired people move down here, spend all their luxury money on our golf courses and in our restaurants and whatnot. All those things I get. But guess what, guys? You got to act like you belong in the big time. This should never be an issue. It should never have come to this. And yet it's still the same argument. Well, I got to take care of my constituency and blah, 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 blah. Don't you see the big picture? If they walk away, the Rays leave. What are you going to do? You're not going to get another chance.
Nope.
Maybe 35, 40 years from now. Okay. What are you going to do? I don't get it. And you got areas and teams cities, I should say, that are clamoring
right.
for a team. Don't you understand it? And the investment in it is investment in your city. They want to all say I'm not giving the owners a bunch of money. I'm not doing that. Blah, 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 blah. I get it. But don't be so ignorant and so short-sighted and so old school that you don't get it. This is not a barn raising, on somebody's property. This is a major situation that by connecting it to the HCC the buildings and having a campus out there and a whole setup, what's the holdup? And there's state money involved. I don't get it. I want to see the plan. What plan do you want to see? Yeah, are you going to argue over are you going to get involved with the what it looks like and everything? I don't understand it. It just, to me, it's grandstanding from a bunch of yokels who just want to put their name out there so they get their 1 minute on Channel 8 and they can say, look, I fought for you. Come on, man. Do what's right for everyone. Don't be so short-sighted that you want to make something good because your 10 people that voted for you are going to not put you back in again. I think it's dumb.
Yeah. So we'll all be waiting, and of course next week we'll talk about that here on the 941 Sports Zone podcast. All right, a couple more things before we get to the locks of the week and wrap it up with the what's bugging me. Golf was actually some excitement over the weekend, although it certainly didn't look like it on Sunday. Wyndham Clark had a 5-shot lead going into the final round of the BMW. Looked like he was going to cruise home, and then he started playing and started missing putts, and the ball started spraying, and before you know it, he's tied with Rory McIlroy.
Yeah,
but I got to give Wyndham Clark credit because he did this earlier this year with Scotty, didn't he? Where he was in the lead, and then
US Open, he stumbled, and right. I think he won. Did he win the Canadian Open too, or no? He just had a little controversy in that one. He didn't win it, but listen, I got to say this to you: fantasy golf ended last week because the next tournament is the last tournament. There's 30 guys, and you've used up most of the guys, so you're really not fair to kind of put it out there. So this was the last week, and guess who I had left to pick? Wyndham Clark.
Oh, really?
So it was like what you look, you're always trying to figure out what course these guys are going to be playing that they're good with, and what grasses and what all kinds of stuff, right? You're always thinking about stuff. But Wyndham Clark has become a player in big time tournaments, and the way he's won his tournaments, the two big ones this year, he's shown a lot of intestinal fortitude, if you want to call it that.
Because everybody was rooting against him both times.
Sure. Right, sure. And he went out there the day before, he finished 1 over on the final 3 holes. So going into the final 3 holes, wasn't looking like it was going to do very well. And what, he finished 3 under for the last 3 holes?
Yeah.
So he went out and goes out and birdies the last 3. Really nice golf course, by the way. That golf course, it's been a major championship course before. Last one was the PGA, I believe, in 19 or 20 or whatever it was. But nonetheless, a nice looking golf course. I thought it suited itself for the magnitude of that tournament. Now we go to Atlanta, I think is where they always end up, and they play for the Tour Championship, and Clark will be part of that.
Yes, he will. He'll be one of the 30. The last one to get in, Ryan Fox, ended up 30th. They already got tee times listed because it's 15
they're ready to go.
Yeah, they're ready to rock and roll, but it doesn't start until Thursday. $40 million purse, $20 million to the winner. Of course, Tommy Fleetwood made his name last year by winning the Tour Championship in Atlanta. So who's going to make their name for themselves this year? It'll be interesting. I'll watch them this weekend, even though I'm away.
I don't know. It's not the weighted. It's everybody's playing.
I was trying to find out, to be honest with you, and I couldn't find any.
I don't remember, but I'll say this to you: it's going to be really hard for Scotty to beat Scotty.
Yeah,
he was sick. They find out now he was sick last week.
Right.
He fought through being ill. It's just hard for me to think that he won't be contending in this one. Now, Rory, who looks like who every week looks worse and worse, like he get out of bed, didn't shave, whatever, barely brushed his teeth. He looks a wreck. But I mean, there's big names. There's guys who have been playing very well. Anything can happen, but I just, it's going to be hard for me to think that Scotty won't win this.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. It's interesting that Matt Fitzpatrick is second. Well, and he's a guy all year long. I've been on him all year long. I put money on him, and all year long he's disappointed me. I'm not going to put any money on him here. He'll win by 10.
Well, you know what? He is, Rich. He's a very consistent guy. Okay, yeah. He has a very good all around game. But you know what? That gets you 10th place.
Right. He's currently second, though.
Yeah, no, I know that because he's. But I'm saying, like, we talk a lot about wins. You know, how many wins did you have? You know,
right.
He had 2 wins or he had 1 win, whatever. And Fitzpatrick won with his brother down in New Orleans, so he did have a win. May have had a win before that too. I forget, but nonetheless, he's a very consistent player. What does that mean? He has great irons. He does everything right. So it's not a lot of spectacularness to it. You know what I mean? When you're watching the last group this last time, and Rory's hitting 357-yard drives down the middle of the fairway, making a run. Clark's hitting at 317. He's playing great. You know, when you have that, and Matt Fitzpatrick kind of plods along, makes a lot of money, but doesn't really sort of give you that, chill to what's going on.
All right, so we'll look forward to that in Atlanta. All right, let's move along to locks of the week. I kind of made an executive decision. Okay. We kind of talked about this a little bit. I'm going to crown you champ of season 1.
Okay.
You won by 2. You won fair and square. You led basically wire to wire. The non-gambler beats the gambler. All right.
Wasn't that how it always is?
Yeah, it is the way it always is. All right. Yeah. Who wins the college basketball pools? You know, not you. It's your wife or your girlfriend or whoever. Yeah, it's exactly. All right. Let's go into season 2. We've got a few college football games, or do you got somewhere else you want to go?
No, I'm going college football.
Okay.
So I'm just because the game's in Dublin, I think it's gonna be fun.
Okay.
I'm looking right now, and it's TCU giving 7.5.
Yes.
I'll take TCU and I'll give the 7.5.
All right. That was one of the games. I'll probably end up playing that game. That was one of the games I liked this weekend. But I'm going to take Memphis on the road at UNLV, getting 5.5.
Okay.
I think it's a field goal game either way. So 5.5 is more than a field goal. So I'm going to take Memphis to beat UNLV. So there's our season 2 first locks. And it is time
football, so that's cool.
That's right. Football, and it's for real, and it counts. Even though it says week 0, it counts. It counts on the record. So, all right. Final segment. What's bugging me? What's bugging you, John?
All right. So I wrote down 2 things, but I think I'm going to stick to the one that it's kind of personal, not crazy personal, but I'm getting tired of the pre-fantasy football draft analysis / chatter. I like fantasy football. I don't know how you feel about it. A lot of people I know don't like it. So yeah, there you go. Right. So I like it. It's fun. It's a hell of a lot of luck involved with everything. Hell, the first that you pick the order, that's luck. It's all luck. You know what I mean? Who's going to be healthy? The matchups, you got what you play week by week. But when people talk about this, like Ashton Gentry sprains his ankle, and it becomes an entire day's worth of stuff because that's going to affect who you pick in fantasy football. To me, is ridiculous.
Were you listening to Channel 87 on Sirius XM?
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's
on the fantasy channel.
And the thing is, Rich, like we mentioned before, about picking and for the NCAA basketball. Fantasy football, you can win. You can take it on auto draft and still win.
Yes.
It now fantasy football. Well, what are we going to do? You get it on ESPN. You get a suggestion.
Right.
It says you should take this person. You need a running back, and he's the highest one, and you should take that person. All analytic. You can take they can pick your team for you if you wanted them to. But that's what happens. It used to be back in the day. You had to do some research. You had to figure things out. You had to write all these names down, and you're crossing them off, and that son of a bitch took my guy, and all this other stuff. Now it's like,
I got my magazines.
I lost the running back. I have 10 more in the queue. Hit him. It's amazing to me that there's still this angst and chatter about it. And for as much as I don't like chatter about fantasy football in the draft, before the draft part of it, and I love the draft part, it's always fun. I hate the chatter after even more. It's not. I enjoy doing it. Don't get me wrong, but it's not everybody. It's not everybody. But some people just want to go on and on and on about fantasy football. My gosh, it's understand how much luck is involved in this before you start to think that you picking the backup running back for the Cardinals because you know that Love is not going to make the whole season and you're a genius.
Right.
No, you're not. It's not that big of a deal, but it's fun. There's a lot to it when you're trying to, especially if you have to know a little bit. But honestly, do you really have to know a lot? Because nowadays it spoon feeds you.
Yeah.
So that's what's bugging me. It's nothing crazy, but just like I don't want to talk about that anymore. I don't want to talk about, hey, who do you think's going to be that? No. But let it all happen. We'll pick some players and see how it goes.
All right. I'm going to be, I don't know. I thought about this earlier today. What bugs me is week 0.
Okay.
Week 0. I'm tired of week 0. Week 0 in high school, week 0 in college. Now in high school, we know it's Kickoff Classic, so they've kind of renamed it week 0. But I want more meat on the bone than we're looking at this weekend. Why do we have to wait another week? Seriously, let's roll out a whole bunch of games. Let's get going. I mean, we've waited over 200 days for crying out loud. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's go. We got USC, who, by the way, they've re-upped with Notre Dame now because they got their way. They were going to take their ball and go home, and they're like, well, we want to play early in the season, and Notre Dame's like, okay, all right. After getting all kinds of crap for getting rid of the game's finally back on. But I mean, I look at the matchups, and I'm you brought up one that I think is a pretty good one, NC State and Virginia. It's actually a conference game. Good on those two teams, by the way, for scheduling a conference game in week 0. At least there's a game that matters in week 0.
Well, and we both stayed away from it. We both stayed away from that game because I don't know what to expect because it's a conference game. And if NC State is, they're always pretty talented. If they can get their act together, they should beat Virginia, or at least get that.
Well, Virginia won 11 games last year, John.
I know 11 games,
and they should have won the ACC, but of course, we had the weird tiebreaker, and we had Duke.
Right.
And so they didn't even get a team. They had to get an at-large Miami, who, by the way, went all the way to the championship game. But I want it all. I don't want this week 0 crap. I don't like it.
Well, Rich, think about this, okay? So why wouldn't you, like you said, instead of having a week 0, have a full, maybe not a full slate of games, but maybe half your game, half the teams play, because everybody get an extra bye week then, wouldn't they?
Exactly.
So you can come out of the gate and half the teams play on this weekend and the other half play next weekend. Mm-hmm. And leading into Labor Day, whatever else goes on, you can spread the games out a little bit, but everybody gets off to a good start. They can regroup and do whatever they got to do, or get off to a quicker start, but you can make an extra week out of it. It almost, to me, it looks like it will happen. That's what I'll say.
Eventually. Yeah.
It will happen, because look at the NFL. It's going to be 17 games. We know it's going to be 18 games at some point in time. It's a nice square number, and it's going to be right where it's at right now, the weekend before a President's Day, so nobody has to work on Monday.
Right.
You're done. You're tidy. I will say this too. I think at some point in time, the NFL will expand the rosters because they're going to have more players on the rosters in order to be able to get.
Agree 100%. 100%. Because they're all getting hurt now. Now you're going to throw another game in there?
And for as much as the 32 owners in the NFL are money hungry, they're not anymore. They're not more money hungry than every team in the SEC, in the ACC, and the Big Ten. You tell them another extra week of money, and we're going to call it the All-State Kickoff Pre-Week, blah blah blah, and you're going to get more money for it. They'll be playing games in July if you ask them to. Trust me.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the 941 Sports Zone, Season 2, Episode 2. And we've got some meat on the bone with some college football. Looking forward to that over the weekend. We got the championship, the FedEx Cup championship, if you will. You and I both mocked that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess, there should be some excitement. There should be some excitement.
As far as I'm concerned, from this weekend on, there's nothing to complain about watching TV on the weekend.
Correct.
You've got college football. You've got the FedEx Cup, like you said. You got hot. It makes baseball a little bit better. You know what I mean? Because of all that.
Getting into September, baby.
You still got the exhibition football from the NFL. You've got fantasy football drafts all this weekend. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. So this is it. We are on the launch pad taking off right now for what is the best sports time of the year from now until February 15th?
I believe it's Valentine's Day this year, John. Super Bowl's on Valentine's Day.
Well,
that's going to go over well, isn't it?
Well, you know what? I'm sure there's some wonderful women out there that would love to have Valentine's Day on Super Bowl and their husbands tell them, no, honey, it's Valentine's Day. It supersedes the Super Bowl. But I don't know if that is going to ever happen at this point. It would listen, if Super Bowl was on Christmas Day, there's your competition at that point. It's big. It's
Santa big. Or Super Bowl. There you go.
Well, exactly.
Well, they got 3 games now on Christmas. 3 games on Christmas.
They bumped the NBA to the back of the line.
Just said yes. Yeah, your 5 games are nice. We're gonna put our 3 games.
Don't you know LeBron is playing the Celtics? Nope.
Nope.
We don't care. We're watching football.
Exactly. All right, that'll do it. We'll be back with you again next week. Again, follow us on YouTube. Give us a like. Give us some feedback. We'd love to hear it. Facebook, X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, we're everywhere. We're live on Twitch. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. So consume us either live or when you're riding your mower at work. There you go. Right. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Somebody I know very well does that.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool guy too. Pretty cool guy. All right, John.
This guy.
Have a good week, and we'll talk to you from North Florida next week.
Yeah, cool. Very cool.
Probably in the airport. So we'll have to figure that out. So
there you go.
Yeah,
real media guy doing it from the airport.
There you go. Yes, everybody will be like, what's this guy doing?
He must be important.
He must. All right. Till next week. So long, everybody.